Hi, we're the Levett family with Gregory B. Levett and Sons Funeral Home and Crematory. Welcome to Atlanta.
You got it, finally. It's good.
Gregory B. Levett and Sons Funeral Home was founded August the 1st, 1980 in Scottsdale, Georgia. It was by accident that my wife and I started the funeral home. In 1979, my wife's girlfriend had triplets, and two of those young babies died at birth. And she called my wife and asked could we assist her with the funeral services for their triplets. At that time, I was working for my father in Congress part-time. My father always gave free services to newborn babies up to the age of 3 months. So he said, go ahead and give them the free services. And when we went to the cemetery to have a grave-side service, there were over 200 people for those two little babies. After the services, her girlfriend suggested, why don't you all open up a funeral home here in the community? And we opened up 1 year later, August the 1st, 1980. My first original funeral home that we opened in 1980, I could not afford to build a facility. So I rented this old house. This house has been condemned. It had been empty for about 10 years, and the kudzu was growing out the windows. And everybody told me, you don't want to go in that building because that building is haunted with ghosts. So there was a young man hung himself in that building, and every business go in there, the ghosts run him out. True story. So I went and looked at the building. I said, there's a ghost in here. This is where I need to be. So I could not afford to buy the building at the time, so the gentleman rented me the building for $100 a month to start out. In 2012, I was at a state convention in Columbus, Georgia. Walked in this hotel, and they had this great big atrium, a piano sitting in the middle of the hotel lobby, and it was gorgeous. And I said, this is the way I would like for our funeral home to look. And my wife said, I agree. I have a son who is an architect builder. So we shared our vision with him. So he took a pen and pencil and took our porch and designed it like a hotel lobby. So people feel very comfortable when they walk into the funeral home to make arrangements for their loved ones. We have 4 funeral homes located in the metropolitan Atlanta area. The unique thing about funeral tradition here in the South, believe it or not, is diversity. You have over 139 languages spoken in DeKalb County. So when we went in business, we didn't want to go in to be just an Afro-American funeral home. We want to be a funeral home of the people. No matter what level or educational background or ethnic background, treat all the families the same, whether they're a millionaire or whether they're a pauper. And we built quite a business with all ethnic groups across the globe. So when we started marketing, I did not market my face, I market my name. We're buried some of the most well-known, world-renowned pastors and entertainers. But we serve everybody the same level of services. With my 3 children that are involved, everybody have a specific responsibility. However, we have 130 other employees that help run the day-to-day operation. My wife and I, we just kind of stand back and watch the kids run everything. No major decisions are made by me or the family until we all sit at the dinner table and discuss it. When my wife and I started the business, immediately we said we need to get involved not only just in our church, you have to get involved in a community. And my wife and I, along with my children and all my employees, are required to volunteer services back to the community. And I try to tell them to try not to just be a follower in the organization, be a leader. Try to become president, vice president, and you will stand out. And people, when something happened in their family, you'll be the first person they think about. One thing that we've been able to do, we've been a philanthropist for giving back. We have helped build many churches, financially supporting them. Also, what we do a lot of is give scholarships to young students that could not otherwise get scholarships to go to college. If you got a 2-point grade average and you're a dedicated student, you can get a scholarship from Gregory B. Levett and Sons Funeral Home to start your education. Once we got in the funeral business, there was other things that we needed to support the business. So we own a flower shop, Flowers by Jerome. Because we have so much printed material, we started our very own printing company. Also, we found that a lot of people needed help in getting people out of jail. It's called Levett Bail Bonding Company. And what we do, we bail people out of jail when they get in trouble. And a lot of them are families that we have served. We opened up our own crematory because there's demand for a cremation service. So I found this big warehouse, and it was for rent, and I called the gentleman, and he and I met on the property. And he said, I liked your personality. I sell you the building, I finance it. Sure enough, he and I made a handshake, what I would pay for the building, and then 2 months later, we agreed to purchase the building and close it out. And he said, you know, they said I got cancer when I die. I think I'm gonna have them to bury you. 2 days before we were closing out the property, he died. But his wife said, you and my husband had a handshake, and I want you to have this building. And he said he wants you to bury him, and I did. And we only met 2 times. And we purchased the building, and we opened it up and started a crematory called Cremation Care of Georgia, so we can serve not only the metropolitan Atlanta area, but the entire state of Georgia. We pre-plan our weddings, we pre-plan our anniversaries, we plan our graduation. Why not pre-plan that we know is going to happen? It's not guaranteed we're going to get married, any of these things, but it's guaranteed that we're all going to die. Pre-need takes the stress off, number one, the financial burden that they have. I found when people come in on an at-need basis, they're under stress and they have 24 to 36 hours to make a lot of decisions. And once you make those decisions, you cannot change them. Well, with pre-need, they can plan how much their budget they're going to be, the type of service they want to have, and their living person have a part of that planning of their homegoing celebration. And they give most families peace of mind when that time comes, and they have time to grieve and support each other instead of worrying about how we're going to finance this, who's going to be on the program. Pre-need has been a very significant part of our growth in the film business. When I started my film home in 1980, I was a licensed insurance agent, and I sold pre-need. In 2017, I'm still burying people that I wrote policies for in 1978. 1 out of every 5 families we serve today have pre-planned with Gregory B. Levett & Sons Funeral Home. The key to a successful program for pre-need is you got to market it. Show them the value of pre-need versus at-need. It makes life easier for the film director, it makes life easier for the family, it makes life easier for the old person who you're making a pre-need for. If a funeral home is not doing pre-need, they are dying. Like my father gave me an opportunity to grow, I have to give an opportunity to not only my children in the business, but other young directors that I have entrusted to serve the families. People know that we're honest, we're professional, we're trustworthy, and what we say we're going to do, we deliver. 200 years from now, we want to be able to say Gregory B. Levett & Sons Funeral Home is still around. We're trying to build a legacy more than we are a business that we can leave for generations to come. Thanks, Funeral Crib. We will see you on the next episode.